Hey, this is Chase Atlantic, and you're listening to Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. Welcome back to the Rock Sound Podcast. We've had a couple of weeks away with some very special things happening. But for any of that, I'm Will Cross, Junior Editor at the magazine. Tamsin Wills, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very sleepy. But yes, I'm having a wonderful week. It's nice to be back. It's nice to see your faces again. Jack's already laughing, so it's going well.
Well, yeah, likewise.
And he's not put sugar in my tea, so...
Yes, Tamsin's not very happy.
So if I'm asleep by the end of the recording, then you know why.
Jack Rogers?
Sugar don't belong in tea.
It definitely does.
Done.
Is this like a northern-southern divide?
Yeah, like, yeah, and, yeah, like sugar.
I might cue a good cup of tea one day.
But, whatever. I'm very well, Will. It's been a cool couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Been hefty, yeah.
And
hefty, just like the awards themselves.
Oh,
yeah.
Exactly.
They're so heavy.
They are proper heavy. Yeah.
And then Christmas, eh?
Yay for Christmas!
The most forced smile. It's been a really, really good couple of weeks. So the Rock Sound Awards, powered by emp.co.uk. All of our feature-length podcasts with our winners are online now. They're on our SoundCloud page. They're on our iTunes account. Get involved with all of them. Brilliant stuff. Feature-length chats with the likes of Fall Out Boy and All Time Low, While She Sleeps, The Main, One OK Rock, all kinds of stuff. And of course, awards.rocksound.tv, the place to go. Our very, very special limited edition individual covers in our Rock Sound Awards bundles, available right now, featuring all kinds of stuff, including limited edition interviews, photos, posters from their Rock Sound Award cover shoots, special Rock Sound Awards sticker, all kinds of stuff. Top 50 releases of 2017. Absolutely amazing stuff. So awards.rocksound.tv. So this week we have an absolute blockbuster as our final episode 2017. Absolutely amazing stuff for Christmas. We've got Slam Dunk headliners Good Charlotte, chat with Joel and Benji Madden. We've got Movements, Patrick Miranda, and we've got Asking Alexandria frontman Denis Stoff dropping all kinds of exclusives. Amazing stuff. Stay tuned. But first, Tam's in the news.
Tom DeLonge has hinted that he and Travis Barker are working together on something very mysterious. From Tom DeLonge? Mysterious?
Never
a thing.
Aliens and things.
If you wanna know more, check out Tom's Instagram. Palais Royale are teasing new music for February 2018, which is going to be big. Tonight Alive have dropped the video for Crack My Heart. Against Current's Chrissy Costanza is set to feature on the new Dashboard Confessional album Crooked Shadows, which I am stoked about.
Yes.
My Chemical Romance's Danger Days has been certified gold. I don't really know why it wasn't already, but there we go.
Crime.
Denis Stoff and Caleb Showman have been dropping exclusives on their website about Asking Alexandria, Beartooth and respective new music, but more on that later on in the show and in the coming weeks. And finally, Slam Dunk have announced 9 amazing new bands, including Paris, Real Friends, Creeper, Thursday, Knucklepuck, Franco and the Rattlesnakes, Every Time I Die, Crown the Empire, and co-headliners Good Charlotte.
Yes, so that leads us into our very first interview. Of course, Joel and Benji Madden played an amazing sold-out show at the Brixton Academy a couple of weeks back. We caught up with both of them to chat all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, we talked the new Christmas EP that they've surprise dropped, GC Christmas Part 1. So much fun. Headline Slam Dunk 2018, of course, alongside Jimmy Eat World. Had a chat about Good Morning Revival, absolute classic in the GC legacy, which is 10 years old this year, and also chatting about their Madden company, developing artists with no genre rules and kind of giving back to the industry that's, that they remain a massive and influential force in. So, here we go. It's our chat with Joel and Benji Madden of the brilliant Good Charlotte. So, Joel, Benji, thank you so much for joining us on the Rock Sound Podcast.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome to have you guys on. So, GC Christmas Part 1, surprise EP. Where did the idea for it come from?
I think we've talked about it for years. We always wanted to record some Christmas songs, and we kind of had a couple around that were roughly recorded, and they just weren't done right. And so we, now for the last, was it going on 3 years now?
Yeah.
We bought a studio in LA that's really incredible, where our management offices are and everything. we're like, man, we have this incredible studio.
Might as well just record them.
Yeah, let's do, so.
Yeah, it wasn't really a big thought process. We were just like, we've always wanted to put some Christmas songs out.
Had a little extra time.
And like, we feel like, I don't know who came up with part one, because I feel like, I guess we're going to do it again next year.
Yes, we are.
Maybe the year after. So is it going to be part 2, part 3, part 4? I don't know. Maybe it should just be the year we release them, because like, when you look at Christmas pictures, you're like, oh, that was 2012.
I'm going to be honest with you. When my assistant asked me when we were doing the paperwork for she was like, hey, what's the title of this? I just said, I may have picked the wrong title. So.
Yeah, the title sucks. But it's like we didn't put.
Well, you were at soccer practice.
Yeah,
and
but that's just kind of like, it's not something that I think artistically we're like. It's just like, oh, Christmas songs. Okay, enjoy. It's not.
All right, listen. To be fair, I do pretty well on the album titles, so I messed the Christmas one up. All right.
But also, it's not like something we're selling. It's like, yeah, we're putting Christmas songs out there.
Yeah.
And we're probably doing.
And we are
going
to do another one next year.
No, I know. I'm down to do another one next year.
But we can't call it part 2.
It's pretty ambitious to go like, this is going to be a thing where
It's
we're
3 songs. I think it's pretty easy.
It's a big commitment to record 3 Christmas songs every year.
It doesn't say when part 2 has to come. It doesn't have to come next year. It could come the year after.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for whatever. I showed up. I sang on the songs, and I was down. I mean, look, Last Christmas is a very interesting song to sing. It's different. Like, it was a little bit of a challenge, actually. Like, weirdly, as simple as that song sounds, it's like there's a delivery there that was like really, but like, I'm down. I've always liked that. Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and hope you guys enjoyed the Christmas songs. There was not a whole lot of thought put into it, other than like, let's put some good Christmas, good vibes,
Good fun, good vibes. Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, definitely. And you can definitely hear it. I mean, like, kicking off with Last Christmas then, was that just a nice way of paying tribute to George, and just it's an absolute classic? And yeah, how was that to record?
I think it was really nice to pay a little tribute to George. And it's interesting. Like, it was a good challenge for me, artistically. Like, he had a style that is really you can't
emulate it.
Yeah, it's really hard to. So, it was, like I said, strangely like a challenging song to kind of learn and then deliver in your own way that hopefully is okay. But I really enjoyed the final product. Like, listening to the song back, I was like, oh, it's nice to sing Christmas songs. You feel good. You're doing it for no other reason than like the holiday spirit. Literally, like, that's it. There's no win out of a Christmas song that you like as a band. There's no version of
It's
doing
just good vibes.
It's just like, so for me, like, it feels good to do that just for the sake of doing music for a good feeling. Was nice, and we hope people get a little extra.
And then the other 2 songs there are originals. So
Yeah, because I was going to ask Christmas by the Phone, classic Good Charlotte rarity. Did you kind of just want to give it a modern spin and just have a bit of fun with it?
Because when we did
Finish it.
Yeah, because to me, like, it was a GC rarity, but it was an acoustic take that was just done literally in, like,
On the fly.
on the fly in like 30 minutes. And like, I really wanted, I've always liked it, and I was like, we really need to actually go in the studio and record it for real. So that was the point,
Yeah, definitely, because that was from around the self-titled era, right? Yeah, amazing. And Let the World Be Still as well, which you did with the Madden Brothers as well. Again, did you want to kind of give it the sort of the Good Charlotte spin?
Because
The GC version.
Because we talk about, like, the Madden Brothers stuff is so different, and we were like, some of the Madden Brothers stuff could translate to Good Charlotte, and we just like, what if we took it in and did it like, in the Good Charlotte way, and it's cool. It feels good.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a lot of fun to listen to. And I mean, as well, just being announced for Slam Dunk as well. Excited for that. Big show.
Yeah, really excited.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, Slam Dunk's so cool because it just continues to grow, and just the vibe just continues to really, I think, just feels like to solidify as just one of these.
Feels very like pop punk centric too, which I really like. It's one of the only.
Any chance to, I mean, Jimmy Eat World's playing, and it's always great. We've been crossing paths with them. It's great to play shows with them. Sirens. I mean, it's gonna be a great lineup.
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, going into 2018 as well, you know, I mean, there are rumblings that you've been working on a new record. I mean, is that kind of the plan, or are you guys just kind of seeing if a record comes kind of thing?
There's definitely some new music kicking around. There's definitely some vibes, you know. We've definitely been getting inspired. So I would not be surprised if we are dropping new music in the new year.
Oh wow, very exciting. And in terms of like Youth Authority, is it some of the vibes from that album, or will it be sort of new stuff, or like how's it sounding?
It feels like it's going somewhere new.
It's hard to say though, yeah.
It's not Youth Authority. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's not. I love Youth Authority, but like
I don't even know if we can explain it yet.
Yeah, it's just new. Something different.
Very exciting.
I mean, you know, we've always been on one. Like, if you listen to all of our albums,
yeah.
I mean, does any one of them sound the same?
No.
Yeah, you know, so that's just us, man. You know, we've always looked up, you know, for me, like, I always kind of, like, admired the Beastie Boys, you know? Like, I mean, they just didn't have a box, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the way we've always felt in Good Charlotte. We just don't want to be boxed in by anyone. And if people make us feel like they think we should go right, we're going to go left. You know, that's just how we roll, you know? So it's hard to say. I don't even know if we have enough.
It's cool. It's a vibe for sure, though. We definitely feel like it's in a direction. And
I think we'll probably announce something soon once we figure out what we should say about it.
What it is, like what it's happening.
Awesome stuff. And I mean, as well, 10-year anniversary of Good Morning Revival as well. Listening back to that album now, how's that in sort of 10 years on? Is it, because I mean, again, like I said, it's an eclectic album, you know, it's like, it's a real standout in the GC, you know, legacy. How does it feel listening back now?
Still one of my favorite records. I think we're young. And
again, we were trying to go left, you know?
Yeah.
I think everybody wanted us to make another.
Like, I think, I think like a song like Keep Your Hands Off My Girl wasn't as widely accepted at the time from us, but now I feel like it would be. It's weird, but I feel like that record was good for us. We were just kids, and we were trying to push ourselves to do something that was pop, but was still us, and it was rock, and it was like, I don't know. We were pushing ourselves to try and be, you know, bigger and greater.
It's a good question. It's like, you know, self-titled, Young and Hopeless, Chronicles. I think each one of those records has its own identity. And then it's like, how do you make your fourth album stand out? How do you make your fifth album stand out? And even now, it's like, you know, we're going on album 7. How do you make your seventh album stand out? Every single time you have to approach every album to
make it special.
Have its own identity. And not everyone's always going to understand that at the time. And when you think back to 2007, right? In 2007, you know, the music hadn't changed yet. You know, when you think about things like Dance Floor Anthem or The River or, Keep Your Hands Off My Girl, I mean, even dance music hadn't hit yet. You know, I mean, like it was just starting.
Before the EDM stuff.
Yeah, it was just before the EDM stuff, and I think like we were in this headspace of you know, we were more excited by shit that was different, and I think like that's just who we are, man. You know, I think like you know, I'm excited about Chase Atlantic. When you listen to Chase Atlantic, there's no one else like them. You know, and 2 years from now, that's going to be the biggest band in the world. Just mark my words. Watch. And that's just like us. Like we're excited about like the next and like the new shit. You know, like always have been. And I think that sometimes that can be a bit misunderstood by, you know.
It all kind of adds up to us just being us.
Yeah, definitely, because leading into that as well, because with Madden, you know, we've mentioned Chase Atlantic, you know, you guys are putting a company together that's so eclectic, you know, you've got so many different bands who are really pushing the envelope. How's that to kind of, you know, be putting together? Is it really, really exciting, especially that you love that, you know, as individuals yourselves?
I think we're just fans. We really have the unique opportunity to work with incredible artists that we're fans of, and I think
1,000% just fans.
And we have a company of really amazing people who work really hard and who share our same values. All of us kind of believe in what we're doing, but it's more than just me and Benj kind of sitting there picking bands. Like, we have these incredible people that are out in the world that are music industry professionals who know what they're doing, and they work. They have in their own right their own talents, and I think we just gravitate as fans to the music we love.
You just find you just find shit that you just can't stop listening to. You know, Waterparks. You remember the first time we heard Waterparks, it was a YouTube video, and then we just start watching all their YouTube videos and couldn't.
We were obsessed.
Yeah, just couldn't take our eyes off them.
And I'm still obsessed with them. Like, they just have their own take on things, and they're unapologetically themselves. I think I gravitate to artists that I want to be like, that have that kind of confidence to just be themselves. So
yeah, and I think it does come down to just being fans, and at the same time though, we are the kind of captains of the ships, and we do have to try and steer the right direction, in a general direction. And our whole thing is like, can we make the music business more fair? Can we make the music business more leaning in the direction of the artist? Can we have any impact on the way this business works? Because for the longest time, this has been a business of artists getting taken advantage of. So how can we make any impact there? Well, one career at a time. So if we can help, Waterparks or Sleeping with Sirens or Chase Atlantic or Good Charlotte or Hollywood Undead or any of the guys we work with who are all these incredible artists, and that's our standard is like, we really have to be inspired by these people to bleed for them, And how do we make the music business a better place? It's one artist at a time, one conversation at a time, one record at a time, and it's always just. And our artists know too. We're not their managers. We're all peers. You know what I mean? And it's all just a group effort to fight this battle every single day, and just try and make it a better situation for everyone involved.
And they'll inspire other artists out there, So, that's the way it works, is it all just kind of ripples. And so hopefully all artists talk.
We feel equally as lucky to be able to have these guys in our life. You know what I mean? 'Cause
it's kind of destroying the old industry idea of like the manager and the label and the important people that are going to change your life. It's
all
not
about
how
the
it
artist.
works. It's all about the artists. The artists make incredible music. They go out and they tour and they play shows, and they work really hard, and it takes a village. So it is about all of us working together. It is about the label. It is about the manager, but it's about everyone understanding each other's value and kind of right-sizing it all so that everyone appreciates each other. There's a version of this where everybody kind of is fair to one another, and they don't take advantage of each other, and they don't end up hating each other. And
there's some longevity. That's the relationship that we've had with our band for 22 years now, and it's time tested. Is just communication and just respecting each other, and just
all great success and great careers is built on hard work, and believing in yourself, and the highs and the lows, and sticking through all of them. And everyone in the music business on either side, whether it's someone who works in magazines or at labels or publishing, everybody knows highs and lows. Everybody that's been in this business for a long time have had their moments, and all of us have. And so teaching artists how to have sustainable lives, that they can do their music and they can have the kind of life they want to have through the highs and the lows, to me is the most important thing. Is kind of get rid of the hype, and just kind of the real part of this is make your music and your art and the things you believe in, and create, tour, do the things you love, but while keeping your life and your integrity and your soul intact, and so that's what we try to do, and everybody at our company does, and all the bands, we all kind of agree on that. Doesn't mean we agree on everything all the time, but we're all people. But I think in general, like, we all believe in a better way, and like, we figure it out as we go.
100%. Guys, perfect place to end. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, as I said, I think the main thing about Good Charlotte is, they're such an influential, important band, and they're still so massive, and they've got such a devoted fan base. And seeing that at Brixton a few weeks ago, man, it was amazing being a fan of that band for so long. Jack?
Yeah, that Brixton show was great, and Good Charlotte are brilliant. Good Charlotte were my first ever album, and it's just mad still to see them in 2017 playing those songs. But the thing is, I spoke to Joel a few weeks ago about Chronicles of Life and Death, and he said in that how they've never conformed to what everyone else wants them to be. Like, if someone says to them go right, they'll go left, and that's what's that's kind of the reason that Good Charlotte have stayed so fresh and so relevant through its time. I just wanted to pick up mainly because, for one, like the Christmas EP, it kind of feels right. Like their choices, like they do Last Christmas a lot of justice. But mainly the Good Morning Revival stuff, which was, I love how they were saying that it was at a time where dance music, which is true, dance music wasn't the behemoth that it is today. And they created that crossover, which was looking back before its time. And it's only when you look back over that and you go, yeah, it actually was. Like, no one else was doing what they were doing then. And it was the same on Young and Hopeless. No one was doing what they were doing. Like, they kicked something else off and did the same with Chronicles. And just hearing them, like, be able to look back over that and just know, you know, like, they're a confident duo, but they're confident because they know what they've created and what they've done is something quite special.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's coming through in their work around the industry as well. I mean, you know, working alongside bands from Chase Atlantic to Architects to Waterparks, it shows, you know, what a handle they have on the industry as a whole, and kind of, you know, that idea that we've talked about a lot on this show, that genres are becoming less and less of a thing. And I think that's really, really important that people of their influence are kind of in with that. Tamsin?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that little chat about, like, you know, giving back to the music, and just even, you know, discovering Waterparks on YouTube, and they were just like, we just became massive fans of them and we had to work with them. And it's kind of crazy when you think back to like 10-15 years ago, when they were kind of just this like weird emo pop punk, don't really know what they were, but they were sick band, just creating bangers left, right and centre. And now they've become one of the most like powerful and influential like duo and like in the industry. And obviously, you know, they work with Sirens as well as developing all the smaller artists as well. And just like if you go on the Madden website and just looking at the roster and the artists they work with, like, it's insane. And you know, you've got everything from Waterparks and like Bop Central to heavier acts as well. So it's really cool to kind of see, you know, you don't just have to be in a band. You can build like a business out of it, a whole life out of it. You can have your own studios in LA and just be like the coolest dudes ever. Yeah. I've seen Good Charlotte a few times at festivals and stuff over the past few years, and they're just really cool still. Like they know that people want to hear Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. They want to hear the anthem and like the old school bangers that, you know, a lot of people, they turn up to watch them and then they go. But they play on it so well. I remember seeing them like on the pit stage in Reading, and they were like, "We know what you're here for. We're gonna make you wait for it." Yeah. And they dragged that encore out so long. And they were like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it. It's fine."
But the thing about that is, like, it's something which I respect about them, that so many bands, you know, who do 10-year anniversaries of stuff, like, when they could have been doing the 10-year anniversary of like the album, they were making new music, and they're like doing something else, and they were like, well, we're not going to play on that, because they know what people want to see, but also they incorporate it in such a way. Like, when bands do career spanning sets, it's kind of like, oh, well, we're going to do this and then that, but this is like an actual, like, they know their fans, they know what their fans like, they've listened to them, they respond to them. Like, they're some of the most active people online as well. Like, shout out to the Maddens for like helping us out in so many ways and like supporting what we do at the magazine. Yeah. But it's like they understand where so many people don't, and I think that's why, like, they're just lovely guys as well, and like that's why they're still around and still so relevant. Like, 20 years into their career. Yeah,
it's such a feat. And I mean, like you say, I mean, that set list was absolutely perfect to Brits. You know, it was kind of like, you know, what you guys have said. It's almost like looking back and looking forward. It's just like 5 bangers from Young and Hopeless, and then it just ducked and weaved into every album, you know, from Youth Authority all the way back to the self-titled album. And it's just like, man, like it's such that, as I say, they've got such a handle on how to kind of treat your legacy so well, but also be really forward thinking and innovative, and that's really rare. So yeah, massive shout to Good Charlotte. Brilliant stuff. Jack?
It's list of questions, but with a Christmas tinge. Ho, ho, ho. So, first, we have Mogajog1288, who's asked what our personal favourite album in 2017 was. And mine was Overexposed by Sleep On It, which I've just learnt that Tamsin hasn't heard, and it's really annoyed me.
I've heard like 50% of it. There's just been a lot of music to process this year.
Yeah, but
The thing is, it's saved in my phone.
Oh,
I've
no.
got it saved, like, so I can listen to it whenever.
You got on your phone.
Yeah, well, no, but this is, like, as I was explaining to you earlier, I feel like to really do the Sleep On It album justice, because I know it's going to be really good as well, I feel like I need to just take an hour to myself and just, like, really
That's fair enough.
take it in, and I haven't really had that recently.
Well, I mean...
I'm a very busy person, Jack.
Sorry.
Anyway, back to why you love it.
Basically, it is an album which you should spend time with, because the more that I listen to it, the more it gets under your skin. Like, Sleep On It, they kind of like, they bring together all the best things which were about, like, early, like, mid to late 2000s pop punk and emo. Like, it feels so reminiscent but so fresh and so considered, and it's very hopeful music, like in a genre which is often like about being downtrodden. This is about like getting better and being like the best person you can, and they do it in such a way where you just can't help but like feel something through this album. Like it's just stunning.
That's a banger.
I'm gonna go for the Gospel Youth Always Lose.
Ooh.
Because if you love Sleep On It, you will love the Gospel Youth. If you love the Gospel Youth, you will love Sleep On It. Just loads of like, there's a really good mix. There's pop punk bangers in there, but there's a lot of like emotional. There's like piano intros, and there's a lot of emotion and feeling in the songs. And I think the whole album just really flows well together as well. And it is one I can put on and just listen from start to finish, and I don't feel like I have to skip any songs, or it's pretty much flawless for me.
And Sam's voice is like
an
angel.
Yeah.
Caramel.
It's like
Yeah,
a
make a
wordless
comeback.
original, isn't it?
Old
Isn't
school,
it, Jack?
old school Rock Sound podcast joke. Love it. Nice. I'm gonna go with "The Feast and the Panic" by Neck Deep. My absolute runaway album of the year this year. I'll never forget hearing this album. We've talked about it on the podcast before when their PR Mark brought it in, and man, it just knocked me for six. Like, I mean, I've always loved Neck Deep right from the start, but I feel this is when they really took that step up. And I think everyone out there, or you guys listening, probably agree with me on this by judging on all your reactions over the year. It's just an absolute. I think it's going to go down as a modern classic. In Bloom is one of the biggest rock songs of recent years. They actually played at Emo Night last Friday, and it sounded absolutely massive. It's song of the year by a long, long way, in my opinion. But then you've got "Don't Wait," and you've got "Motion Sickness," and you've got all kinds of stuff on the 1970 something. "Where Do We Go When We Go," "Heavy Lies." It's just such an eclectic, mixed bag, amazing album, and I think it kind of goes within the pop punk genre and then just throws it into all kinds of things, into the stratosphere. It's absolutely amazing. Big up Neck Deep.
Sick. Good year, yeah.
Oh, big time.
Cripsy things, which that's how you spell crispy, has asked, what album were you kicking off start of 2018? And mine is, I feel as though if it was released this year, it would have been my album of the year. But it's Excerpts.
Oh,
I knew you were going to. Oh, of course.
I literally just got the release date up on my phone to check it.
Have you got the same answer?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
fair,
the Excerpts. I was between two, so I'll give my other one.
Okay, so
Right.
You talk about the Excerpts and how brilliant they are, because they are.
Mine is the new Excerpts album, which has been a long time coming. If you aren't familiar with the Excerpts, they should be your favourite band, really. Like they're a band who, for every single album they release, has been a modern classic, but this one just takes it up to the next level. Hold On to Your Heart is just a step up completely. Like it's perfect rock songs, which with a bit of a retro twist to it. Like a lot of this album, it's very like 80s influence. Like I love a saxophone. There's 2 saxophones in this. Every track on this album, it's just stunning. Like I've been told off for playing it as much as I am. Like, because it's just a constant. It's the closest thing to probably what love feels like in musical form.
Seeing as Jack stole my original answer, I am going to go with an album that I've actually spoken about on the podcast before and how excited I am for it to drop. And it's the Dangerous Summers upcoming album, which is out at the end of January. If you don't know about the Dangerous Summer, again with Exits, like get to know. Get to know. The album they released a few years ago, I say a few years ago, it's probably like 10 years ago now, I don't even want to think about. Reach for the Sun is still one of my go-to albums. It's like a masterpiece in kind of like emotional alternative pop rock. They're quite hard to label as a band, but they were such a good band for quite a few years, and then they just kind of decided to go off and do their own things and start families, and there were like a few rifts between the band, and they kind of just parted ways and just didn't really do anything, and the future of the Dangerous Summer was in jeopardy. But now in 2017 they got back together, they got in the studio, they wrote some songs, and I am very, very, very excited to hear the outcome of it.
Sick, big up. The Plot in You with their album Dispose. Talking of underrated bands getting their dues. This band of just like, especially over in the UK, like they've just kind of been so underrated. Their last album, Happiness and Self-Destruction, is it's up there in terms of heavy albums. Like it's up there with absolute best in the past few years, because it's a complete mix. Has that kind of There Is a Hell feel of like being total like brutally heavy, along with a lot of kind of experimental and melodic stuff. And Dispose is just this complete leap from that. It's this kind of amazing, completely unique kind of, it's like almost, if you're into things like Sempiternal by Bring Me the Horizon, and that's the spirit, and you kind of want, maybe that's the spirit, you want something a little bit heavier, this is absolutely for you. It's like club ready, but then it's got a ton of heavy kind of distortion on it, and there's a lot of electronics and strings, and it's absolutely amazing. And their frontman Landon, he's one of my favourite lyricists out there. Man, like honestly, this album, like, these guys say get to know, honestly, the Pot and You get to know, like get to know. Dispose is out in February, and man, like 2 tracks online at the moment. It's just like, it's unlike anything out there. Honestly, I can't stress how good this album is. It's almost hard to describe, actually. But yeah, honestly, this album, this is the one.
Sick. And final question, it's from @RyanBird87. I recognise that.
That name rings a bell.
Our Oh Captain, My Captain, Ryan Bird, has asked what our favourite Spineshank album is. And I've got to say, it's the best of Spineshank.
I'm going Heart of Callousness, because I am one of Ryan's new metal soldiers.
Fair dues. Good work, everyone. Will.
So, as mentioned previously, the Rock Sound Awards, powered by EMP.co.uk, are happening. They are very much still on sale. It's been absolutely amazing. Awards.rocksound.tv. Head there right now to get your Rock Sound Award bundle of all 10 limited edition covers with all 10 of our very special winners. That includes Fallout Boy and 1OK Rock and Paris and Neck Deep While She Sleeps. All kinds of stuff. Exclusive interviews, posters from their Rock Sound Awards cover shoots, Rock Sound Awards sticker, the top 50 releases of 2017, so much more. The full feature-length podcast with our winners are online now. Man, honestly, it's so exciting to be doing all this, to have revealed everything, and just to see all you guys' reactions out there. Absolutely amazing. So awards.rocksound.tv, amazing stuff. Spotify playlist as well, an updated Rock Sound chart. Follow us on Spotify to check that out. Absolutely amazing. Who's number 1 at the moment, Jack?
Crack My Heart by Tonight Alive.
Oh, banger, big stuff. And our Scuzz TV show, the Rock Sound Awards episode, is now on daily on Scuzz, so check that out as well. Absolutely massive stuff. Interview 2. So a band that seems to be capturing people's hearts in 2017. Movement. So a lot of call for them online. And we were like, well, like, great band. Their album Feel Something's a banger. Let's chat to frontman Patrick Miranda and find out, exactly what Movements are all about. So we did that. And man, Patrick was just so brilliant. Like, he talked about emotion in music and having a proper message with music and how important that is. And just kind of delved into the album Feel Something, the stories behind it, and even things like performance poetry and some really unusual things. Yeah, talking about unique bands like The Plot and You earlier, man, like Movements are definitely in that field as well. So yeah, I'm going to shut up. This is Patrick Miranda from Movements. Here we go. So going into Feel Something then, it's a hugely emotional album. You touch on a series of very heavy topics across it. In terms of it being a debut album for you guys, and it's come off a lot of success, you did Warp this year, and there's been a lot of buzz. Like, did you want the album to be an extremely emotional listen? Was that kind of the main mission statement with it?
I mean, that's sort of the goal, I think, with all of our music that we've ever created. Everything that I write is from like an honest, like genuine place. You know, I write about the things that I've been through or the things that I deal with in my life. And a lot of those things aren't necessarily like happy, you know. We write kind of sad music in general, and we write music that has sort of like a pretty heavy emotional weight to it. But yeah, I think that's really, really important because, you know, for me, like growing up, you know, like all the music that I really connected to and the music that I like found sort of like a solidarity in, was like the music that was more, sad and like dealt with like, you know, just kind of the heavier things in life. And for, you know, like for a kid, like dealing with whatever it is that you deal with when you're growing up, like being able to know that you're not alone in what you're going through and that like there's somebody else who feels the same way as you do. And like they're putting it into this music, like it helps you connect on such a deeper level, you know? And, I think I've always wanted to accomplish that with my own music. And, so that was like a big thing for Feel Something. And I wanted to make sure that everything that I was writing was, just honest, you know, and that I was speaking truthfully. And, you know, I used my music as sort of a way to, I guess, talk about the things that I don't necessarily like to talk about just in day-to-day conversation. You know, I don't really like, you know, sitting down and talking out my feelings or my problems or whatever it might be. And so I use music as a way to sort of get the things out that I need to say so that it helps me feel better. You know, it's sort of like a therapeutic thing. So, ultimately, I think the goal for this record was just to speak honestly and speak truthfully and hopefully be able to connect to people who understand what it is that I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree. Because, I mean, you know, songs like Third Degree and Colorblind, you know, they're very emotional listens. And I mean, do you think that's the most important thing about music in general, you know, to allow people to make connections with these things, to be able to address, you know, things that, like you say, you know, you might not feel comfortable doing it in a normal conversation, and then allowing people who might feel the same way to make connections in that sense? Is that kind of, do you think that's the most kind of amazing, powerful thing about music in general?
Yeah, absolutely. There's something so incredible about being able to just like, again, have that solidarity with another human being and be able to connect with another human being on a deeper emotional level because, you know, I feel like there's so much music that is just so fake or like so forced. A lot of times it's like gimmicky, and like I always have sort of just not respected like those types of bands or that type of music. And I think it's really, really important to have music that means something and that really helps you, you know, not just listen to the music, but feel it, you know, and understand it. So yeah, I think that's super, super important. I think that music, you know, is incredible because of its, you know, healing power and its ability to just take all of us who are kind of going through this crazy thing that is the human experience, and, you know, have us come together in a really special emotional way.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, because, I mean, you know, songs like 19, you know, and Kept from Outgrown Things, did you kind of want to expand on what you were doing on those tracks and see what else you could do with the movement sound on this album? Because, as I say, you know, those songs hit very, very hard lyrically as well. And, I mean, did you kind of want to see how you could spread that across a full album?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, 19 in particular is like probably, I think, the song that most people who listen to Movements can relate to the most, just because our fan base are around the age for the most part where, you know, that is a big issue, like dealing with, you know, what it is that you want to do with your life versus what your parents want you to do with your life. And, you know, the issues that come from that and like the sort of disconnect that you can oftentimes have with parental figures. You know, I think that's where a lot of our fan base is like really like they connect with that because it's like, damn, like I feel this, you know, like I get what you're saying. And I definitely like, it was hard for the full length because, I feel like there was so much pressure to kind of outdo what we had done on Outgrown Things. Like, I don't think any of us really realized how much Outgrown Things was going to impact, the people who listened to it. And like, I didn't think any of us like knew that we were going to, I guess, like blow up, for lack of a better word, as much as we did on this EP. So for the full length, you know, writing it was really like, nerve-wracking, because I was like, damn, like, are we going to be able to outdo like this EP? Like, did we set the bar too high? So like, I really like tried to like really dig deep into like my life and my emotions, and write about the things that I thought were going to be the most impactful, but while still staying honest, you know, and not trying to fabricate anything, because I wanted it all to be real. So, yeah, I tried my best to like really still expand upon those things. And I think that Deadly Dole, for instance, on Feel Something is probably right up there with 19 as far as like emotional impact, you know. I think that it is sort of the 19 of this full length, because again, it's one of those songs that a lot of people, not even just our, you know, fan age demographic. I mean, this goes deeper than any age demographic. You can be any age and still know what it's like to struggle with watching, you know, somebody that you love deal with Alzheimer's or dementia. So I really wanted to just make sure that no matter what it was on this record, whatever it was that we were writing about, that like it was relatable and that it meant something. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it absolutely does. No. That's very, very cool. I mean, yeah, with those songs, you know, in particular, you know, I mean, in terms of the scene as a whole, the kind of the heavier music, the rockier scene, in the modern day, you know, you do get bands who, you know, tend to sing about things that don't go very deep, you know, and can kind of come off in more of a kind of throwaway sense and things like that. I mean, do you think that that's a shame in this day? You know, do you think that the bands should be kind of you know, looking to raise awareness on things and to address issues that like we've been talking about that, you know, maybe aren't so easy to talk about and people do need help on? Do you think there is a sense of that bands should do that?
I would like to see more bands do it, for sure. But at the same time, I definitely understand where a lot of these bands are coming from with like just the more surface level, like cheesy or like gimmicky things. Like I get it, you know, like that's where they're going to make money. And like, if you're just in it to be a musician who can pay the bills, like fine, that's okay. And obviously I don't want to name any names, but like, you know, I've seen my fair share, and I know a lot of people probably like know the type of band that I'm talking about here. But I definitely wish that more bands took a stand for things that are important. You know, we've been given a platform, and we've been so lucky to be able to reach the amount of people that we, you know, are able to reach. And for me, it's like, why wouldn't I do everything in my power to use my platform for the greater good and for a good cause? You know, like, why would I let that go to waste on cheesy, gimmicky stuff that really doesn't have any sort of deeper like meaning or any sort of, I guess like, value or something like that. And I don't want to sound like I'm talking shit, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like we as musicians have sort of we sort of owe it to the people that are supporting us and that are doing so much. Like, we would be nothing without our fan base. So I feel like we need to be giving back, and that's why I've always wanted to you know, spread awareness for things like mental health and in this case, you know, Alzheimer's and dementia. Like, I want to always like work towards bettering our community and giving back as much as possible, because I feel like I've been so lucky to be able to do the things that I've done and to be where I'm at in my life. And again, to have my platform, that I only want to be able to help give back to others because of that, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I totally respect that. I think that's awesome. And, you know, in terms of the album going forward as well, you know, obviously we sadly aren't seeing you on the Knuckle Puck tour now. What are the plans going into 2018 with it? You know, are there very much a lot of plans in motion to bring this album out to as many people as possible?
Yeah, man. Well, we actually, you know, we should be in Europe and UK right now, actually. We were supposed to be on tour with the second leg of the Knuckle Puck run, and unfortunately ended up getting pulled, which we were heartbroken about, man. Like, I had been looking forward to going to Europe and the UK for so long, man. I was so bummed out, but At the same time, we respect Knuckle Puck's decision and we support them. And Joe, is going through some stuff and he needs to just recover. He needs to get better, and we're all about that. So, it is what it is. It's a bummer, but there will be other opportunities for us to get out there, and we're just going to take it, as every day comes and see, what opportunities come up. But for right now, there's not really anything sort of set in stone. We're kind of just chilling until like March. We've got a headliner coming up. It's just a U.S. headliner that we're really excited about. It's our first ever headlining tour. We've never done anything like this before, so we're really, really interested to see what it's like. And I think it'll be a good opportunity for Movements to kind of establish our value and our worth as a band, because we've only ever done support tours up until now. So we're really excited about that. We're taking out some bands that we really, really like, and that was fun because we got to choose the bands that we thought, should get some exposure, and have put together a cool tour package around that idea. So I'm really, really excited about that. But honestly, other than that, we don't have anything super planned out yet. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do next summer. Again, we're trying to figure out if there's a way for us to reschedule to get over to the UK and Europe. Maybe, this winter, like February sometime, or if not then maybe, early spring. But yeah, we're not sure, man. It's kind of crazy right now. So, yeah, just kind of playing it by ear, taking it how it comes, and whatever happens. It's all good.
Amazing. Well, I got my fingers crossed for you guys coming over here. As well, I guess to kind of finish up as well, the album and your sound in general is very eclectic, and it's quite unique as well, very unique. And a lot of that kind of stems from the kind of aspect of spoken word poetry as well, and I know that's something that you're very passionate about. And was that really interesting to be able to expand on across the album? Does it link in really, really well with wanting to talk about these topics and that sort of thing across the album?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love spoken word poetry, and I've always been a fan of spoken word, like not just bands and musicians who incorporate spoken word into their music. Like I genuinely love just straight up poetry, and I'll go and I'll watch there's a channel on YouTube that I really, really am fond of. And it's called Button Poetry, Button Poetry. And it's like amazing. I think a lot of where the emotional value comes in here is a lot of the poems that I love the most have to deal with really, really heavy issues, whether it be, depression and anxiety, or obsessive compulsive disorder, or, family issues, or, hearing people of color, poets who are talking about their struggles, with racism and stuff. It's just so heavy and so beautiful. And I feel like there's such an amazing way that people can just create art with just the use of the English language. And I think that's so incredible, because there is no music behind it, and there's no visual performance aspect. It's literally just words. But the way that people can create words and make them so profound and so artistic is it's always been a really big passion of mine. And so I've definitely wanted to incorporate that into our music for a long time. Obviously there's bands who do this sort of thing too. Law Dispute, Hotel Books, for instance, are both big into the spoken word thing. But Movements, we always kind of wanted to take all of the aspects of songs and bands that we like, whether it's, bands that are heavily spoken word or bands that have no spoken word or whatever. And we always just wanted to kind of take everything that we've ever been inspired by and smash it into one thing. And I think that Movements is sort of that, that outcome of all of these different styles that have become one. So yeah, it's cool. I like doing spoken word because it gives me the opportunity to say a lot and not be hindered by, having to stay within a certain key of a song or within a certain, melodic structure or cadence of any sort. I can kind of just be free flowing with it. And I really like that about it. So I definitely think it's something that we're going to keep for I mean, I think throughout our music, like while we're a band, I think that it's something that just really means a lot to all of us and kind of really defines movements. So, yeah.
Yeah, so as I say, just a band that have really kind of captured people's hearts, I think. Tamsin, you into it?
Yeah, I mean, just listening to that interview has made me want to go and listen to every single thing they've ever written, because it sounds right up my street.
It is.
I've really gotten into stuff like spoken word poetry, and I really like Hotel Books, which is the same sort of thing. It started as spoken word poetry and developed into this really raw and emotional sound. And just going from like everything he was talking about making a point of having relatable music that's, you know, not written by 5 different people in the studio. It's like it's come directly from the heart. Everything he sings, he means. And like, you know, what he was saying about why wouldn't he use this platform that he's got to talk about things that are important and, like, you know, give their music a voice. And I completely agree with him. I feel like a lot of bands have lost that, and they're making music just because they think it's cool to be in a band, which it is, but there's more to rock and roll than like leather jackets and dancing around on stage.
Since when?
But like, just, yeah, like I totally get everything he was talking about, and just I really feel like I was gonna say something then which was going to sound like a pun. It's not meant to at all. But I was going to say, it sounds like they're making movements and making a movement with what they're doing, what they're creating.
I see what you did.
Not meant to be a pun, but...
it's a good pun.
Yeah, no, generally, I think what they're doing and what they're planning and what they want to do with their music is very important, and I am now going to go and listen to them.
Oh, big time. Yeah, Feel Something's an absolute banger. I mean, yeah, he's, especially Patrick as well, he's kind of such an individual and kind of brilliant dude. It's made me kind of like what you've said. I just want to delve into that band even more. I'm kind of fascinated by him. Jack?
Biggest thing about Moons, because they are such a sad band.
All about the sad
their music, it's
so
sad, and that's great. And I think it's when you hear like loads of bands say it's like how they use their music and their musical output as like therapy for their own things. But that's, in some cases, that's a very easy thing to say. But when you're doing it to the level that movements are, and it's what Patrick said about using his voice for the greater good, which is a huge thing, because usually in music it can, like, you can pour your emotions out, like, or force yourself to feel something just for the sake of it, because like, oh well, I'm feeling I'm going to write a sad song because I feel like I have to. But like actually using your music when you're like channeling your emotions, like these deep emotions that you're feeling, to like genuinely help someone else or like build on something which is like can make a difference. Like, I mean, like, you say Feel Something, it's a very direct title, this album. It does make you feel something. But it is like, yeah.
What about that pun line?
I'm just as bad. But like it is that feeling that like knowing, like having the initiatives, like, well, I can actually use this platform that I've got, and it is a platform because like a lot of kids are really responding to what Patrick's saying, and like the music movements are making, like the buzz around this at the minute, like you can tell like people loving it on Warped Tour earlier this year, but like leaning into this album, like there's something going on, there's something seriously stirring here, and I think it's just gonna burst very soon and like be massive.
Yeah, I think so. I really hope so. I mean, yeah, and he's, obviously, unfortunately, we didn't get him on the KP tour that was supposed to be right now. So hopefully, at some point, hopefully early next year, we're going to get him.
It feels as though we have like a new voice.
It does.
There. Like and the good ones don't come along very often. So I think it's the start of something.
Totally exciting, man. Brilliant stuff. So, third interview, say it's a blockbuster for our final regular podcast of the year. So, this has been making waves online already. We've been posting this on our website and our socials. Denis Stoff, ex-Asking Alexandria vocalist. We managed to get him, and we had a chat all about what's been going on with him, because since leaving Asking, it's been quite quiet, on the surface for Denis, not behind the scenes. So we wanted to find out what was going on with him, and he told us absolutely everything. So this is exclusive stuff. This is the full interview for you guys. We know you guys have been fascinated by it out there. So here we go, Mr. Denis Stoff on the Roxanne Podcast. Let's go. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about what you're doing, really. I mean, obviously, you've spoken a lot about what you've been doing on Twitter and that sort of thing. It's all quite mysterious, so we just kind of wanted to get into that, really. So yeah.
I'm trying to keep my social media up, but I've been quite busy. It's been a very busy year for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, no, it sounds really exciting. So yeah, you've been teasing a lot about a new band, new music on social media. You're calling it something fresh. What can you reveal to us about the project at this point?
Well, honestly, that's pretty much all that I do these days. That's first and foremost. Things are going to be very exciting. It's lots of good music. I surrounded myself with very talented people, so I cannot wait, man.
In terms of style, does it reflect kind of things you've done in the past? Is it still kind of in the heavy realm, or is this something very different entirely?
It's different, but it's not going to be as heavy as it used to be. I can't even mark it with some certain tag, honestly. People just need to hear this new stuff.
Wow, so it's all you've branched into a lot of new things then. I mean, do you think genre's even really that important a thing anymore, especially in this day and age when people listen to so much different music? Do you think it's really even needed?
I guess to some people it is, but not to me. I don't really care. I just want to play music that I really love, We grow, we evolve as musicians, as artists, as songwriters. So we just always want to do something new, something fresh.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause, I mean, based on like your previous bands and that sort of thing, how have these experiences been? Has this been a much more positive kind of songwriting process, or like take us inside that a bit? How's it been?
Every album that I've actually worked on has been an incredible story, honestly. This one, I'd say I had the most amount of freedom, if that's the right way to put it out, while I was working on it. So yeah, you guys will see. You guys will see how it all turns out.
Awesome, yeah, because you also mentioned that you've had a lot of songs that you put down between 2012 and 2017 that you haven't been able to release and that sort of thing. I mean,
there's been at least an album that I did not release, that I couldn't release.
Oh man, so you literally physically weren't allowed to release that?
Yeah, pretty much. Asking didn't really want us to put out any other music other than The Black. So I mean, I was definitely down with that back in the day.
Oh man, that's a shame. I mean, did any of those make the cut, or is that stuff that's very much just going to be kept to yourself?
I don't think it's relevant anymore. It's like heavier metalcore. It used to be, but I'm writing a whole different kind of set of music these days.
Definitely, yeah, and it's very exciting. I mean, as I say, you mentioned Asking. I mean, like, looking back on that, you said, it's very sort of every album you've made has been an incredible experience. I mean, looking back on The Black, are you still very proud of that album?
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's been nothing but good times. I've learned a lot while I was in Asking Alexandria. There's no bad blood between us. I had to leave the band for a very, very private reason, but it was nothing but great time. The Black is the tits.
That's awesome. That's really awesome to hear. And to say, sorry to hear about problems you had. And I mean, in terms of looking back on that, then it was a very positive experience. Then did you learn a lot from that period?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I've gained such a massive fan base too. So it's win-win,
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, as well, look about your previous bands, like Make Me Famous and Down and Dirty and stuff like that, I mean, how do you feel looking back on those now as well? I mean, is all that again? Is it all kind of, you're very proud of everything that you've done with those bands too?
I'm proud of it, but it all sounds funny to me these days, honestly. It's like, get ready for real shit.
Yeah. In what sense is it? Do you feel that this is much kind of what the stuff you've been working on now is much kind of fresher and it's just a bit more true to you as an artist?
Absolutely. I mean, I was like 18, 19 when I was working on those bands like Make Me Famous and Down and Dirty. So, yeah. I'm 25 right now, and I'm definitely open to a whole different new perspectives in music.
With the whole end of the Asking era as well, I mean, was it just kind of that you needed to do what was right for you, essentially, and kind of, like you said, there's no bad blood or anything like that? Was it all very much about just doing what was right for you as a person?
Well, honestly, I don't even know where to begin with on this one. It's been a year. It's been a very tough decision for me, but I had to leave the band because, as you've heard before, I'm a Ukrainian guy. I'm originally from Ukraine, and there was too much shit happening pretty much back home where I'm originally from. It's a legit war zone right now. So that was an incredible stress for me and my family. I just had to stop touring for a second, and I had to focus on my family and all the things that were happening back there.
I'm very sorry to hear that, man. I mean, that sounds really, really difficult. I mean, was that particularly hard then, having to do things like Warped Tour and kind of, get used to a band that were pre-existing?
Touring was fantastic, man. I honestly, it felt like home. Asking Alexandria felt fantastic for me, but unfortunately, the guys were not ready to wait for me and the things that I had to fucking deal with.
I mean, like in terms of kind of looking back, then are you? I say not pleased, but I mean, are you in a much better place now? Was it very much the right decision, and you kind of feel that, like you say, it is positive looking back on all of it?
Every decision that we make, man, they lead us to the things that are actually naturally ours and essentially ours, So I'm very excited to see where this new band and this new record is going to bring me in life and in the music industry.
For sure, yeah. Did the things that you learned on the Black, and that you did creatively, because there was a lot going on that record. Like, have those kind of influenced the kind of the things that you're doing with the new stuff, in that the creative risks and that sort of thing? Has that very much had an impact on how you've written the songs?
Not really, honestly. I'm always writing about the things that I feel at some certain time in my life. So this whole record was more about, I don't even know, just lots of personal things, lots of personal thoughts, rather than songs that I would be writing about Asking Alexandria or stuff like that. I didn't at all. Asking Alexandria was nothing but great times in my life.
Awesome. So those guys were just really cool, and like you had they really welcomed you in. It just kind of, that's just the way things happened, I guess.
Yeah. All the things that we've achieved in such a short time with Asking Alexandria, man, it fucking felt like I graduated Harvard. So it was great time.
No, I bet. That sounds amazing. I mean, was it tough on you? Was that period tough on you, like vocally as well? Because obviously, you were having to record an album and also go straight into heavy touring and that sort of thing. Like, was that quite overwhelming in that sense, or again, was it just a really good time?
Just a tiny bit, but it was just another thing to deal with daily, Definitely not a bad struggle.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, going into 2018 then with, these new songs and that sort of thing, are we going to be hearing a lot from you? Like, is this going to be a kind of early 2018 reveal, or kind of what can we expect?
Honestly, I've been ready to release new music for quite a while now. I think we finished up the writing this past August, and we've been ready to hit the studio. We're just figuring everything out with Sumerian Records. We're going to re-sign with them. So yeah, we're definitely aiming for a release quite soon enough at least.
Amazing, yeah, because as well, you said, it's kind of with that wait to release this stuff. I mean, has that been quite frustrating? Have you just really wanted to get this stuff out there as soon as you possibly can?
Dude, I cannot even express how fucking annoying that is. You just sit here, wait, But I know one thing, once it's all launched, we're going to be releasing lots of music videos. We're thinking about releasing a little mixtape after we release a record, because there's just too much music, and we just want it all out.
Very cool. So it's very exciting. I mean, in terms of, you know, I mentioned that you, I saw that you'd use the word mixtape actually on Twitter as well. I mean, like, does that kind of hint at, like you say, we've been talking about different genres and that sort of thing. Does that kind of hint at maybe a foray into sort of, you know, a more hip hop sort of world, or is this? I mean, maybe you can't reveal too much, but kind of what might that entail?
Honestly, we just want to show a little different part to what we already have in store for people. This record is one certain sound. This mixtape is gonna have a little bit different sound. I don't know. I cannot even really speak up on this one just yet because it's all in works. It's all an idea right now, but we're definitely doing it.
Awesome, that's very cool, and you're very excited to get back on the road as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking we're gonna be on the road entire 2018.
Wow, yeah, because I mean, it sounds like you say, I mean, you sounds like, you know, you're so positive about your experiences on the road and that sort of thing. I mean, has it been quite hard to be away from that as well, and to not be able to, you know, like you say, you've been waiting to get the songs out to people. Has it been quite hard not being on the road? It sounds like you're so at home when you're on it.
Yeah, man, I enjoy my time in the studio and back home, but being on the road, being on tour is the best thing in the world, at least to me. I feel like I belong to that certain thing in this world.
Definitely, yeah. Because as well, I mean, I guess as well, you know, looking back, you know, say on, you know, you've done a lot of these things in the heavier realm and that sort of thing. How did you find those scenes to work in, you know, and be a guitarist and then a frontman in? Did you enjoy being in the kind of the heavier side of things and that kind of Warped scene? Or you said you loved Warped Tour, and like, how was that? Or is it something that you know, you'd still like to keep a foot in, or kind of how did you find those experiences?
Speaking of Warped Tour, it's such a bummer that they're gonna do the last tour this year.
Oh man, I know.
Honestly, no matter what is in store for us, I would love to do that tour. I would love to do it again. It was nothing but great times, man. You just get to meet so many cool people all around the world if you want to.
I guess as well then, sort of going into 2018 then, I mean, it's kind of what can we kind of, where can we expect it? Will it just be kind of, you know, will you maybe even be coming, you know, over to the UK or to the States and that sort of thing? Is that kind of, do you want to go as far and wide as possible?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All across the world. That's the plan.
Yeah, so a lot to talk about. I mean, this has been a real talking point online. You know, people seem to be really, really intrigued by what Denis has been up to. Jack, what are you making of the whole thing?
I think it's nice to hear from Denis, which is the main thing, because the way that the scene is at the minute, it's such a mill of rumours and opinions, and like just everyone sticking their oar in to have their say about something. But to have Denis come in and say it right and say that this is what's happened, and not be angry, not be like pissed off about anything, but actually going, I was like, he loved his time in Asking, and you can tell like he did, like, yeah, like the opportunity that it gave him after like the bands before, like you can tell like he really holds that time dear. But also like it's the level of music that he seems to be making now, like it's quite exciting to see that everything's going to spill out at once. It seems like it just sounds like he's, when people think that someone's just like being quiet for the sake of being quiet, like he's actually been working, and like working, as it sounds, pretty hard on whatever this could be. Like we don't know what form it's going to take. It's probably going to be heavy as holy hell or whatever. But yeah, it's really after the time, and like, because it did, from our side, it looked quite messy what was going on, to have everything leveled out and like on a clear field for him going into 2018, it's quite exciting.
It is, yeah. Like you say, I mean, to hear him being so positive about Asking was really, really cool. You know, and it feels like you say that, you know, maybe it wasn't as messy as it appeared. And to kind of have the Asking guys on the show a few weeks ago, and now this with Denis, it feels like, you know, kind of two really brilliant things have kind of come from that situation, which is great. I mean, I love that he called the black the tits. That was brilliant. And like, yeah, just really excited to hear what's coming, because it sounds like it's a really eclectic, again, that kind of no genre thing. Love it. Tamsin?
As you said, like originally it looked quite messy, like the fallout with Asking and everything, but it as Jack said, it's nice to hear that there is no bad blood. I think it would have been so easy for him to come back and drop this like beefy, salty diss track, just for like people to gossip and talk about it and spread rumors and stuff. Like it would be, and the internet would have lapped up so quickly. And
oh yeah, dog on hot chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means, but sure.
Northern expression, right?
It's a northern thing.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. And he probably could have quite easily done that. He could, he could have played on it if he wanted to. But as he said, he was like, his time in Asking Alexandria, his time on Warped Tour was some of the best moments of his life. He still loves that album. He loved being on the road with them. He loved working with them. He loved being in the band with them. Things just didn't work out. That happens. It's life. And, as he said, there was an actual war happening in my home country. I had some stuff to do, which is fair enough when you're in that situation. And I feel like there's a lot. Now he's older. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of things he's learned. There's a lot of stuff he's been through. But it's just all just gonna come together and make whatever it is he's creating. And I think it'll be very interesting to see what he comes out with. Yeah,
really awesome. Couldn't agree more. I think it's just really exciting, like you say. I mean, we don't know what's coming from him, and that's the most exciting thing of all, really. So huge shout out to Dennis for coming on. A little message from Dennis as well, saying shout out all his fans for sticking by him. Really, really cool stuff. And yeah, more on that when we hear whatever his new projects are, I guess.
Banging.
So we are coming to an end, but of course, huge shout out to our Roxanne Awards powered by emp.co.uk. Roxanne Awards issue is on sale now at awards.roxanne.tv. Head over there, get your Roxanne Award bundle, get all 10 of our limited edition covers with all 10 of our very special winners. Absolutely amazing. Exclusive interviews, exclusive posters from their Roxanne Awards cover shoots, Roxanne Awards sticker, the top 50 releases of 2017, so much more. All the Roxanne Awards podcasts, full, uncut, are on SoundCloud and iTunes right now for you guys to listen to. Absolutely amazing. Check it all out. One of the most exciting things we've ever been a part of. Brilliant stuff. Follow us on Spotify. Of course, our updated Roxanne chart is there. We've Cracked My Heart by the brilliant Tonight Alive at number 1. Absolutely amazing. Follow us on there. And the Scuzz TV show, our Roxanne Awards episode, is on right now, daily on Scuzz. Absolutely brilliant. Guys, end of 2017.
Oh. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
It was July, yesterday.
Yeah.
I swear.
Generally was.
Generally to think, we started, preparing this podcast in June.
I know.
And here we are at the end of the year.
Madness.
How? What? How? What? What?
It's been alright, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been alright.
It's been a time.
It's been good.
It's certainly been something.
and there's so much more to come.
Words out of my mouth. There's so much more to come in 2018. Can't reveal it yet, but absolutely brilliant stuff. We can't wait to be back. But that's not all. We are going to have some very special things for you guys over Christmas, so stay tuned for those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Can't reveal them yet, of course, but yes, stay tuned. Guys, it's been good. It's been emotional, and we will see you as a trio in 2018.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Love you. Bye.
Bye.